Good afternoon. I went to the doctor to discuss my osteoarthritis and my issues at work, and I'm really glad I did that. My doctor said that he could not provide me with any kind of physical restrictions to give to my employers because the condition isn't advanced enough yet to warrant it. And then we had a conversation about warehouse work in general. And um, he said, I've seen so many people who are so much worse off than you from these jobs. And I said, exactly, that's what I'm trying to prevent. I'm trying to prevent myself from getting to that point. And his basic advice to me was if I were you, I would get another job. That's literally what he said. So, was really proud of myself for going and for the way that I handled that because in the past, frankly, I've become so dysregulated and disempowered in healthcare settings that in the past I would have pleaded, I would have gotten angry that he wasn't giving me what I wanted, that, I need to force my points. But instead, I was just very gracious about it. And I said, thank you. Anyway, I appreciate it. I did feel validated in my concerns, and that was a good thing. And I didn't feel like so desperate at that point. So I did think about what he had to say. And because I am looking for other jobs, have to really do a cost benefit analysis in my mind. One of the things about health and health coaching is I had to ask myself, well, why health coaching? Is there a real market for that? We already have doctors, we already have dietitians, we already have personal trainers, we have all of this. And I've decided that I've never in my life had a conversation with a doctor that actually fully took into perspective the holistic context of me, my body, my history, because there's never time. And a lot of people share that frustration that they want to move forward in their health, but by the time they get to the doctor, it's not a proactive process, it's a reactive process. It's called sick care. That's the model that we offer. So, health coaching sprung up because there was a real abdication of responsibility in the industry, and I believe pretty strongly in it. I also think that as a consumer and as an employee, um, it's frustrating because we're constantly marketed to by pharmaceutical companies and our healthcare plans, and um, there's all kinds of literature and promotional material being shoved in our faces at work or on the TV about taking charge of your health and being proactive and trying to prevent preventable diseases and states of injury. And then for me, it was ultra frustrating because when you go try to do that, you don't get the help that you need because my doctor, he is legally bound not to provide me with something that isn't honest. And yet he understood where I was coming from, but had nothing, there was nothing in his power that he could do. So that just reaffirmed my interest in health coaching. Um, and then with respect to work, I'm very, very, very proud of myself that I took a day off after losing sleep and took the opportunity to decompress, make a video. I wrote a letter. All of that helped me process my emotions. The most important part for me was that I didn't do anything in the immediate term because I was in such a heightened emotional state because of my effing chronic complex PTSD that in the past, when I've acted too quickly, it's really backfired on me because I'm in an emotional state and I'm not a good decision maker. So, but if you don't sit down and give yourself the space or the time to process your emotions, they stay on you and it really interferes with your basic executive functioning. So, today, what happened was I went to work, I had a great day. It was bittersweet because I love my coworkers and I love the company that I work for, but I have all of these job applications out, and I started really thinking about the benefits, the pay, my goal of not being a job hopper, and feeling both exhilarated at the idea that I could step out into another more white collar role, but also torn because it didn't really feel, it felt like I would be giving up a lot, frankly. So after this day in which I was back to my original role, because they want to be able to flip me back and forth between these roles, one of which is peachy keen and one of which is ungodly, unbearable for me. So, and that's within their purview to do. So thankfully, I guess I had cleared up enough of the emotions and the episode because when I came home, I had an epiphany. And I said, this is a basic problem that is not about my childhood, that is not about how I feel, that is not about a personality conflict. This is ergonomics. This is an ergonomic problem. And I realized that my frustration was based in the very real physical reality of being overmatched to the manual labor that I was doing. And rather than blame myself for not stacking up or get frustrated and mad with the body that I have, I realized that there was a lack of equipment, that the equipment and tools that I had available to me were insufficient to me as a small operator in this environment. And then I had this flash, this epiphany of, okay, so I don't have to use the force of my personality and words. I don't have to use the force of my body to solve this conflict. I can use the force of my intellect because it is a physical ergonomic problem. And I used to be a personal trainer. So I started thinking, can I break it down in terms of the kinetics of it? Can I break it down in terms, can I find something? Could I even invent something, some piece of equipment, a jack, a pulley, um, something that would help me manage these large rectangular picks that I get assigned? And then I thought, you know what? You're not an industrial engineer, but there are certainly solutions out there. And I got on the computer and I said, I'm going to research this And then I'm going to present them with some kind of idea or a plan or a suggestion, and just simply Googled ergonomics for warehouse operators, small operators, jacks, pulleys, and discovered a company that provides material handling products in my area, and contacted a sales rep and made it clear to him that I wasn't a decision maker, but this was what was going on. And he was very interested and had a lot of questions for me, to explore what could be a lead for him. And we decided that we would get the ball rolling, that I would approach my managers at work about potentially documenting, taking pictures, video, and then put them in contact so they could discuss maybe potential solutions. So I was just extraordinarily proud of myself for getting to this point, and it's sad to me. It's really effing sad, the amount of emotional work that I had to do just to get here. But I am hoping that I can come to them with an approach that shows that I have initiative, that shows that I am not just interested in bitching and whining and setting up limitations and drawing a boundary, but rather that I am interested in collaborating on a solution. And the only way that I could get to this point was through processing my emotions, because I was incapable of having these creative, more solutions oriented thoughts until I shut it down. And there's no quick, easy way to do that. But I do feel like if you have these conditions, you have these issues at work, that a lot of self reflection is required, because you have to recognize your patterns and you have to be willing to be neutral and detached towards yourself in doing so. So you're not just judging yourself for having these patterns, because nothing good comes of that. And more to the mental health melees side of things, I have been thinking about, and we'll probably do another video about depression and the silver linings of it. There's been some talk about reframing the depressive state and recognizing what benefits it provides, which is an odd thing because we hate it so much and we discuss it as such a negative. But other mental health content creators have talked about it as a holding pattern, as cocooning, as a way for you to shut down, because really internally you're trying to recover a level of internal resources and energy. And I will say that in my life, one of the things that I've picked up on is that I hate being depressed, but it might serve a purpose. And until I find another way to serve that purpose, it might recur again and again. And what that purpose is this: depression is awful for me, but depression is safe in the sense that it renders me so inert and not necessarily underfunctioning. I'm not a real underfunctioner when I'm depressed. I underfunction in terms of pleasurable activities, in terms of hobbies and socializing and all of the good stuff in life, but I tend to get up, go to work, pay the bills, manage the basics of being an adult. But one thing about my depression is it will prevent me from having conflict. It will shut me down so completely that in a way, I will take anything from anyone. And that's protective of me because if I come out of that, there, if I reach a level where I'm once again have a more normal range of emotions and a normal patterns and normal, you know, all of a sudden anything that is really toxic or unnecessary, toxic people, bad situations, you name it, becomes intolerable, uncomfortable. And sometimes in the past, come out of it so rapidly with such force that my urge to dismantle all of a sudden everything, I just go so hard at it and I create disaster. I know that things are wrong. I don't know how to handle it. And I just gangbusters. So that's bad. And then you go back into the cycle where you're like, oh, I'm a failure at handling this. Everything just blows up in my face because, you know, and then you get depressed again. So I'm really starting to see things, I feel like, a little bit more um, in a more imaginative way and in an expanded way where because I see the patterns, because I don't judge myself for having the patterns, um, I just think, well, what hasn't been done, or could you try this? And then have the courage to try something different. So anyway, that's where I'm at today. I will continue to make these videos and I hope you are enjoying them. My name is Amanda and I live in the United States and I'm an aspiring health coach, documenting my mental health struggles and physical health struggles so that hopefully you can get something out of them. Thank you.